Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, my name's Chad McCloud, and I live in Boise, Idaho, and I make trading cards for college sports. It started as an NIL project. It actually started as me making trading cards for my 10-year-old son. Now we're licensed at 80 universities across the U.S., and we make an awesome licensed product for student athletes, both men and women. We've worked with almost 10,000 student athletes now.
Amazing. So I'm curious, like you mentioned that you started this making cards for your son. Is that kind of what, were you always a card collector? Like what got you into this?
Yeah, man. So my business partner and I used to own a real estate brokerage that we started in 2018. That was a tech-forward real estate brokerage that was using a lot of 3D, augmented reality, virtual reality to sell homes. And we grew that from 2018 to 2021 to about 540 real estate agents. And we sold that to a publicly traded company out of North Carolina. And inside of our brokerage, we had a commercial print and marketing wing of the company. And we found out kind of at the end of that acquisition that they were going to mothball that part of the operation. They were going to lay those employees off. And I said, hey, like my business partner's staying to do the earn out, I'll just spin this off as a separate company. So we spun that off as a separate company called ONIT Marketing that was focused primarily on subscription-based direct mail marketing for real estate agents. And that was going super well just because it was low-hanging fruit. We had a ton of connections in the real estate industry. And then I was coaching my son's 10-year-old flag football team, and we went undefeated. So I said, it'd be super fun to make trading cards for these guys. So we had all the equipment to do it. So made trading cards for the kids. And I was talking to Sheridan, my business partner, and so we should take this to Boise State. And so we did. So Boise State became the first school, followed by University of Cal Berkeley, followed by University of Oregon, University of Washington. And now we're licensed at a whole bunch of universities. We have almost every major in the collegiate space. So we do softball, baseball, volleyball. We work with a lot of different sports. Where we're different is we do team trading cards. So whereas like some of our competition, they take 2 players from this football team and 3 players from Arkansas and 4 players from Auburn and 3 players from Georgia, and they make a homogenous pack that they sell across the U.S., where we make Alabama trading cards and Ohio State trading cards and Michigan trading cards. And so all of our stuff is by team. So we feel like the fan of college sports, like my son's a huge Boise State fan. He's 12, and he doesn't want University of Washington cards. He would take Boise State's tight end over the quarterback at UW, whoever that's going to be this year. So it's a little different. The approach is a little different. The fan's a little different. The customer base is a little different. The product, I feel like, isn't a competing product, even though it's trading cards. But yeah, that's what we do. We make trading cards and collectibles, and that's how it all got started. So
awesome. So that's cool. So essentially, like I'm not sure like how knowledgeable you are. I'm assuming you are probably about like the minor league baseball space, and they kind of have a similar thing where like all these minor league teams have their own team sets. So is that kind of like what you're doing for all these different schools, and you have it like for each sport that they have like in the program?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll have Tennessee softball cards and Tennessee baseball and Tennessee football, and it's all mixed up. And the cool thing is everything we do is on card autographs. So like when we get autographs, like the players sign it, they're feeling it, touching it, experiencing the product, right? So 1 in 10 of our standard packs has an autograph. Every one of our platinum packs has an autograph in it. We have cards selling for a couple $1,000s on eBay. So all of our cards can be graded by CGC, Beckett, PSA, all the major grading companies. We take a ton of pride in the product and just the design. It's fun. Some days I'm like, can't believe this is my job. It's amazing, but
that's awesome.
It's just fun. It's fun to watch these kids like get their own professional trading card, right? Because for most of them, this is it. Like they're not going to pro, or there's no pro option. So this is it. They've played since they were 5 years old, and this is the end of the road. So it's kind of cool to be able to create some sort of, memento for them to remember the highest level of their career by. It's super fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I used to collect sports cards and get them signed and sell them, and so I'm
Yeah.
very familiar with the industry, which is really cool what you guys are doing. So, yeah, I'm curious. Like, do you guys have like signings with certain players too, or is it really just more of like you find like the superstar like on a team and have like a private signing and they sign like a bunch of their cards? Like, what does it look like when you're putting those cards like in the mystery packs?
Yeah, we usually do it in an event. So like right now we're more ahead than we've ever been. Just because we learned we don't want to lose any season. The fans are more excited when the team's 0-0 than when they start the season at 1-4. There's excitement because you don't know what's going to happen. Every team has a chance. It's a new team, especially in college with the transfer portal and things change so fast, So we usually do it by an event. So we're doing our first signing events right now. So we just signed athletes from Georgia Tech, Clemson, Florida State this week for football. So our team's very good at mapping out when each next step happens because we have to be like, it's just different. It's just such a different product because for every team, we're making 100 plus cards. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. We wouldn't be able to do that without AI and design automation and some of the things we've created on the back end because like a Bowman set from Topps is going to have 200 student athletes in total. We're going to have 100 athletes from 65 different schools. So it's a way different deal. There's a lot of cards to make. So yeah, we're utilizing the tools that we have. There's a lot of work. So if we miss deadlines, like people are staying late and they're, putting in the extra time. So we can't miss dates because if we miss a signature date and we got all the guys in the room, it's really hard to get them back in the room.
Makes sense. So I'm just curious about like your revenue breakdown. Like what percent of it, if any, are you selling like the team stores, or I guess you could say retail versus direct to consumer, other channels? Like what does that look like for you?
Yeah, DTC is our biggest channel. We have some good retail partnerships as well. We just got into 650 Best Buy stores across the US, so that's a good channel. We do a lot with Rally House, which is a teen shop company. We work a lot with Follett, who's the largest bookstore. We work with Legends at Ohio State and some other campuses. So yeah, we're just building out that network because we started from scratch. One thing we're super excited about is we've designed some really amazing vending machines. So we'll be putting those in venue on campus, and then we're working on some larger retail partnerships because trading cards are funny. It's kind of an impulse item, right? And we're asking people to order an impulse item and wait for 7 days or 5 days for it to come in the mail. So yeah, and then we're gonna be doing some live auction stuff too, where people can buy product and we'll open it in our studio here in Boise and they can see what they got and purchase more, or we can ship it directly to them, or however that is. So, but yeah, I mean, we also are Amazon FBA. We do eBay. We do some Walmart Marketplace. DTC is our biggest channel, and we would love to keep it that way because we control the sale. But we also know that like for the fan experience, like being able to sell in market's huge. So we want to be in market because like if I'm taking my son to a game, he's never more excited to get Boise State cards than that day. And luckily for us, we have a chain of gas stations here that carries our Boise State cards, and they sell out immediately because they're in 100 different stores here locally. So
that's amazing. So how do you decide, right? Because like obviously certain sports are more popular, like football, basketball probably reigns superior versus like track and field, so how do you decide like how much to print for each sport, or like what does that look like?
Yeah, because we guarantee our NIL, so that's an important part of our business. So like if I go into Ohio State and say we're going to sell 100,000 packs. Based on our model, that's around $400,000 in NIL that we're going to pay Ohio State. So if I miss that mark, I'm guaranteeing that to Ohio State. So we're going to eat that if we miss it. So my business partner's super smart. He's a numbers guy. That's not my wheelhouse. So he builds all our forecasts. We take into our formulation, we take a lot of different data points. A lot of it is this team trending up. What's the average attendance? What was their record last year? Whatever. So we have an algorithm which sometimes kills and sometimes we miss big time. But I think for some of those smaller sports, there's these one-off teams that just kill, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Like Oklahoma State wrestling, like you just gone, sold immediately. Nebraska volleyball. I feel like we could sell as many packs of Nebraska volleyball as we wanted because the fans love them. And Nebraska volleyball, I don't know if you saw the event where they sold out the entire football stadium there, but it was pretty amazing. Like 100,000 fans watching the volleyball game. It was awesome. So yeah, it's not easy to answer your question. We're getting better at it. We don't have that much data, you know.
Right. You're just, yeah, when you're first starting out, like, what do you really know? And then you kind of go, and then just to your point, right? Like, you can have one season where a certain team might have this player everybody's like crazy about and they go viral or something, right? So it's just like certain things are just like, hard to predict.
Yeah. I mean, like TCU, right? Last year they went to the NC the year before, and I don't remember what the record is. I'm not going to say that on air, but like they started out pretty slow, and the fans just weren't super excited coming off of a national championship run. They lost a few in the first 4 games, and their sales reflected that for sure.
So I guess, like, what is your vision for growth? Like, obviously there's still probably some campuses like where you're not, but do you want to go into other verticals, or are you going to stay really focused on college sports 100%? Like, high school sports, things like that.
Yeah, so college is the plan right now. Yes, absolutely. We have plans to be in like youth sports in a different way. I don't know how I feel about the whole NIL in high school. I don't know. I'm not really like, I don't know. It just seems interesting. How we would definitely approach youth sports differently than we are. It might be more of like a fundraiser for the football program where they can have like a professional level trading card, but it's not like, I don't know. Something doesn't feel right about giving a high school kid a whole bunch of money. I could mess some things up in their development process. But I don't know. Like we'll see how that all evolves. So youth sports is definitely something we want to do just because I like saw it with my own eyes, like giving these flag football kids their own cards that they can open that are in professional packaging. And as our brand grows, like we're becoming more and more well known. Like people are recognizing our brand now. So if you can have that brand on like your youth sports cards, I think that's super cool. So just out of the sake of like the fan affinity, like I love the thought of that. We've done a lot of really cool stuff on the design automation because we built our entire operation so that we could do women's lacrosse and hockey and wrestling and stuff. We do everything, which is really, really, really rare for a trading card company. I don't know of any that actually make their own product besides us. So end to end, we do everything from design, print, finishing, cutting, packaging engineering, fulfillment, every single part we do, which gives us a ton of flexibility to do short run. I think that every major trading card company is outsourcing all manufacturing. So we definitely have an edge in that. So I can make 500 packs of College of Idaho, that like is a small school, and we're super passionate about that. And the other thing about like our female sports and some of these smaller sports that are non-revenue, like we don't dumb down our product for them. Like it's exactly the same product that you're going to see in our football trading cards, right? Like we want it to be to the same level, and we really try to catch the especially for the female student athletes, like we want to catch them in the essence of their sport, not like how pretty is she? Like it's not social media. Like we want to see you in your game, what you trained to do for 10 or 15 years. Like that's what we want to catch is like, show me Jordy Ball from Nebraska pitching, and like she looks awesome, like in her uniform and her whole pitch, and like it's amazing. And so we really want to like capture the essence of the game, and we're super passionate about female student athletes and how we were able to build our operation around that, doing short runs so that we can include as many teams as we possibly can, and giving NIL opportunities to these athletes that wouldn't otherwise have it. The harmony in the locker room comes in, right? Like we'll get a quarterback to sign with us because they're like, it's not the biggest NIL deal I have, but like you're taking care of my left guard and you're taking care of like my offensive line and the rest of the dudes, right? These guys that don't normally have a trading card deal or an NIL opportunity, like we're creating that opportunity for them. So like everybody on the team's getting a deal.
100%. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely opportunities, like Little League World Series or even high school. Like I always think of the sports that they're showing on ESPN, for example. It's like they're obviously on ESPN for a reason because people are interested in watching those teams.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. So our plan as far as scale is we got a lot of work to do still in the college space, and that's really where we want to stay pretty laser focused. Like there's a lot of add-on products that we're doing as well in that space. So including like some fan engagement stuff that we have some patent spending on that we're really excited about. So just creating more NIL opportunities, and we really see ourselves as like a fan engagement company. So like, what can we do to connect the fan to the student athlete at a higher level, right? And if we have time, I'll show you a product that we created to do that. That like I gave to my son the morning of his championship game. He was like so pumped about it. And it's him connecting with Boise State's running back, who is like probably at least one of the top 3 in the country. He's phenomenal. So yeah, how do we connect the fan to the student athlete and create NIL opportunities and create a win-win-win? Like we want to create a win-win-win for everybody. The athlete wins, the fan wins, we win, everybody wins.
For sure, yeah. So I'm curious, like you mentioned that you're using AI in part of the process to make these cars more efficient. Are there any other use cases for AI for your business, such as customer service, things like that? I guess like what are you using AI for?
We're implementing a software right now that was developed here in Boise. That's a first line AI answering service. And as it builds out, there'll be if then rules. If this comes up, then it goes to this department, or it submits a ticket onto ShipStation or in Shopify or whatever that is. But we're starting on the base level of that to take a phone call, log it, pass it on to the right person. So we are doing that in the customer service side. Design it's saving us a lot of time. So we develop some scripts that talk to Adobe that we own the IP on, and we can upload our entire team. It cuts out the player. It positions them on the card exactly where they're supposed to be based on the crown of their helmet. That's an amazing time saver, like a huge time saver. On our augmented reality product that we have a patent pending on, we use AI to create 100 different backgrounds so that the image recognition in our mobile app can recognize 100 different images so that there's a personalized message in AI. And I'll just show it to you because it's going to be hard to see on camera, but I'll try to show it to you. But like my card, we might both have an Ashton Genty card who's running back for Boise State. My card's going to have a different background than yours because our software the image recognition has to know that Dan's video is going to pull up different than Chad's video.
Hey y'all, it's Dan Melnick, the CEO of Zing. And I wanted to share a special offer for all of our listeners. Right now, if you need software development services, we'll give you 2 weeks of a free trial. Do you need to update your website? Do you want to build a mobile app? Do you want to update something that you've been working on for a long time? We've worked in a high-level technologies like AI, machine learning, blockchain. So shoot me a text, 817-874-2208. Thank you.
And you wish you knew before you started this business?
Oh man, that's a great question. That's a great question. I actually am glad I didn't know it. So I'm going to say that this space is like real estate was competitive, but I felt like we had an edge on everybody because we were using so much technology. Here, there's so much bureaucracy and red tape and like getting licensed. So I'm glad I didn't know because we came in as naive entrepreneurs, like, oh yeah, we could do that. But what we found is like it's incredibly like hard to get in the space that we got in. We got there because of tenacity and timing. Timing was a big part of it. With NIL, our timing was perfect. So to get like producing stuff is not easy. Everything breaks, man. Like we have millions of dollars of equipment. Stuff breaks all the time. Like I've slept in the building. My business partner slept in the building. Like we have a lot more employees now, but in the early days, like we're like, dude, we can't drop the ball on Ohio State. Like we have to stay up till 4 a.m. and figure out how to get on this flight tomorrow. Like, so the manufacturing process was a lot harder than we thought. Like, just like anything, if you knew if you knew all the pitfalls going into it, you might not take that leap. So I'm gonna say I'm thankful that I didn't know. I didn't know most of the pitfalls and speed bumps that we were going to run into in terms of licensing and production and all that. Because now we've built a moat around us. Like it's pretty hard to jump in and get where we're at in the space.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's perfect timing and it's a great product and a great idea. So speaking of that, if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for your business?
I mean, for us, we have pretty clear goals. I don't know how comfortable I'm talking about revenue goals and all that, but yeah, I mean, we'll be well, well over 20 million in sales a year from now. We've grown extremely fast. I do want to double down on the fan experience. I'd like to have 200 to 400 vending machines in market so that fans can experience our product in market in a convenient, quick way. But yeah, man, we would love to just continue to give more student athletes an opportunity to have NIL and to participate in NIL and to allow fans of sports that don't otherwise have any opportunity, like Oklahoma State wrestling. We might be the only opportunity for NIL, and the fans love the cards. So it's just so great because they win and so does the fan. And I don't know, like if we could get that number of student athletes from 10,000 this year that we expect it to be to 30,000, that'd be amazing.
Awesome. And we're rooting for you. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out, do you mind sharing your website or social media? I guess best ways to get in contact.
Yeah, onitathlete.com is our website. They can, if anybody has questions, they can hit me up on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest place to find me. Just Chad McCloud, and I'm easy to find on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, Chad, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot for reaching out.